Hi, my name is Tanya Sanders, and I'm an EdTech specialist for NWOET, and I'm continuing in this series about the core Google tools. Now, I've kind of narrowed it down. I usually consider 5 to 6 of the Google tools the core tools, but in this basic series, I've included Drive, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Sites I made a separate YouTube channel on, or YouTube playlist on, and also Google Forms, because I felt that they needed a little bit more time than the amount of time I'm going to dedicate here. This one is Google Sheets. Now, Google Sheets is not one of my favorites, but it is by far the one I go to the most. The reason it's not my favorite is because it can do so much. So it scares me. I guess I shouldn't say it isn't my favorite, or I don't like it or something like that. It's just that you can, since it has the ability to do formulas, and you can put some script in the back of it, so you can insert a whole bunch of stuff to make it do what you want it to do. So anytime someone asks me if you can do that in Google Sheets or even Google Forms that feeds into a Google Sheet, I say yes, because you can always write some script in the back of it and make it do it. We're not doing any of that stuff today. Today is the Google Sheets basics. So the things that I'm going to go over, I will share my screen here with you and show you exactly what I'm gonna do. So for this Google Sheets basic video that I'm doing for this Google Core Basics series, I'm going to be talking about creating a Google spreadsheet, and again, organizing it, because I'm big on that organization of your Google Drive. I'm going to be talking about how to type, move around to type, to format cells, format columns. I'm going to talk a little bit about the file menu. I'm going to show you some of the good old tricks of fill down or copy or patterns. I think it used to be called autofill in the Excel days. I'm also going to show you the basic sort and filter. That helps me out a lot when I'm trying to decipher information. I'm going to do the drop down of the insert menu and show you all the things that it integrates with Google. Of course, you can add a sheet just like Excel. So if you're familiar with Excel, you can do pretty much the same things with Google Sheets as well. And then I'm going to show you how to share and the option of. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to my Google Drive. That's where I start everything. I do not go to the waffle and go to Sheets. I like to have all my stuff organized in Drive. So I open up my Drive and I find the folder that I want to put it in. And as you remember from the Google Drive Basics, there's a lot of folders in here that I organize my stuff into. I also do that into my Gmail. I just want everything kind of in a folder so I can find it for later. So over here I have my YouTube series folder. So I thought, well, I'll create a practice folder. And then in that practice folder, I've started an Untitled Spreadsheet. So I'm going to open that Untitled Spreadsheet. And it's never a good idea to have anything not titled. So I'm going to call it Practice Basics. And then when it's time to look for it, or I can search for it, I can look up those words within my Google Drive, because remember, we can do some searches in here in Google Drive where we can look by type, and then we can look by date and name and all those kind of things. So in the practice document that I've created here, spreadsheet, I guess I should say, you can click on any of the cells. Okay, so you got, these are columns, these are rows, these are cells. So if I type inside of a cell, I can tab to go to the next column. So I can tab on through. If I type here and enter, it'll go down. So I can enter information, return, or enter. It'll take me down to the next cell in that column. And then tab, like I said, takes you across. You can also use your arrows on your keyboard. I'm on a Macintosh, so maybe some things are different, or you have some wonderful shortcuts on the Office or the Microsoft side, Windows side. The next thing I'm going to talk about is it seems to be a little bit different with the formatting. You know, it used to be that you could right click and do some formatting, but so after I have the information typed in, I could do a right click and do some basic editing. So cut, copy, paste, and then I can do some, you know, insert and delete columns and rows and cells and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with a right click. If I want to make my text different, I can go and use some of my shortcut keys, but I can also use the formatting toolbar. And I spelled information wrong there. The thing that I found out about the spell check is you have to run a spell check on it for it to show the spell check. It's not going to pop up automatically like it does in your documents and other things like that. So I can choose a cell and I can do some different things with text color, size. All of these formatting things are on here that you can mess with. And just like in the well, I better not show that here. That's not a basic tool. I showed it in the integration one for Google Docs. But just your basic formatting stuff that you can do. I can also do some alignment. And then the big thing in the Google Sheets is the, you know, move to the top, middle. So if I move this word to the middle, it doesn't make much sense because I don't have too many words in here. But if you have so many words that it goes over into the next cell, I can go over and I can use the text wrapping. Oops, I got to select it first. So you select it, and then I'm going to go to the text wrap. Now, if I had my cells spread apart, so I can go to each area and pull down, or, you know, grab it this way. I can do different things physically. That can become a mess if you're working with a lot of data that you've imported. But on the this one, I have it going down to the bottom. Maybe I want it to go to the middle. Maybe I want it to go to the top. So you can change alignment many ways within the text. The one thing that used to be kind of an interesting skill is if I were putting in a date or in a certain number, or if I wanted to go in a sequence of numbers. So if I wanted to go, you know, 11, 13, 15. So if I want to go by twos, now I just highlight and then have my cursor change into a crosshair there. And as I pull down, it'll do that pattern of 2, 2, 2, adding 2 onto it each time. Even if you have one number, if I have one number, it's not going to go in any sequence, but it is going to copy that thing all the way through. So that's helpful if you're doing maybe a password for students and it's all the same one and you're entering data into a system, then you can just fill that down and make a copy of each one. But you can also do patterns. You can do it with dates. You can do it with months. There's a bunch of different things that you can you know, place in here. So if I put January, February, and then I highlight both of those, let's see what happens here. It will continue on as we pull down with it. So there's different things, and you can Google that to see all the ones that you are able to do. So the one thing that kind of gets mixed up in Excel are the, like, what is the format of the stuff inside the cell. So when I place a date in there, it may not recognize it as a date. So the format menu is going to help you do that. It's a little simplified in Google Sheets. So if I want it to be just automatically detect what it is, if I want it to be text and not a date, or if I really do want it to be a date, and then I can choose what format I want that to be. A regular date, which is the one that I have, and it switched it. If I want it to be, whoops, number, I have to go to the number. And if I want it to be like a time along with the date, or if I want it to be a different format with the day, the month, the year. And then I'd have to do some text wrapping on that so we could see all of that. Oop, I gotta pull that out. All right, so that is how you format a cell, and you can do some more advanced things with that, but this is not an advanced video, it's just basic. I'm gonna go to a different Google Sheet that we use to collect data in. And let's say that my boss wants everything to be sorted by school district. So I would go over here to school district and I would select, and then all the columns have a drop down. So I'm going to go sort A to Z, and now it's sorted by school district. So I can see all from, you know, East Cleveland, Elmwood, Findlay City. So I can go through and see how many requests we've gotten from each of those districts, all in alphabetical order. I could also sort it by date if he wanted to know exactly what, you know, what happened first, you know, in order. If he wants something from March to April, I can highlight those and then I can include them in the report that he wants me to submit. But I really do like it for, like, for instance, for like registrations. Let me show you this one. For registrations, if I want to find out people who need help with certain topics, I can go in here and sort that. And then I'm going to find out that all these first entries don't need help. And then these people do, and their emails and their names are to the left. So I just like to sort the data to be able to, you know, look through it a little bit tighter. So under the, let me go back to my practice sheet. Under the insert menu in the file menu, that's where you're going to find most of the stuff that you want to do. So I can't even, I can share here. I can create a new spreadsheet. I can also create a new spreadsheet down here where I'm going to add a sheet to it so I can have multiple sheets down at the bottom. I also do some calculation stuff, and equations and scripting stuff, and extra sheets here. So the data may be entered here, but you may have some other functions going on down the line in other sheets helping you get more precise data. But under the file menu, you also can download it as, if you want to put it in Excel. You can make a copy, you can import things within it. That'll take those things and place them or integrate them within the Google Sheet. Publish to web is usually used when you want to embed it in within a website or something if you want that data to show up. The other menu that I think is super important is the insert. I'm always inserting columns and rows and that kind of stuff and moving them around and resizing them. But you can also insert a chart. You can insert an image into a cell, image over cells. So this one's new of in the cell. We can also put some other Google things in it. You can insert a drawing, a form, and then this is where you get your basic functions. And then on the scripting side, you can add the more advanced functions. You can also put comments. Those are nice to be able to help communicate with people, and check boxes and that sort of stuff. Under the file menu, I think I did show you the version history is there as well. Where you can go and see who's done what. So if you have students collaborating on a document, you can see the version history. And then the share is just the same as in Google Docs as we covered over there, where I can just start typing a name and add them in there, send them a message, and then hit send, and it'll go right to them. I can make them an editor, a viewer, a commenter, and then of course you have other share settings that you can mess with there. And then I would just send it to him. You can also get that link that I was talking about. So I can copy that link, and it says anyone on the internet with this link can edit. I can go in and change those settings as well, but I'm going to copy that link and I can email it to someone if I want to send it directly to them without the email that's generated from Google. I hope you've enjoyed our video. If you enjoy a lot of the things that we are doing and really have an interest in the topics, then you can subscribe to the channel. I think that's the thing people do with the YouTube channels. You can subscribe, and anytime we create a new video, you'll be notified of that. And if you have any questions or need some more direction with Google Sheets, you can email me at sanders@nwoet.org. Thanks.